Welcome to the Foul Front Outdoors Tales and Tips segment, where we bring to light the heart of hunting through shared experiences and lessons learned. By talking with real hunters, both new and old, to preserve and share part of this passion that we hold dear, not only to entertain, but also to educate. So listen up, because this is Tales and Tips, and you're on the Foul Front. This week's episode is brought to you by Dive Bomb Industries, the fastest growing, most affordable decoys on the market, with unmatched customer service. Visit them online at divebombindustries.com, on Instagram or Facebook at Dive Bomb Industries. Or go ahead and give them a call anytime, 7 days a week, at 314-322-7468. And go ahead and use the promo code FOULFRONT, all undercase with a space in between foul and front, for 10% off your next purchase of Dive Bomb decoys. This episode also brought to you in part by Hunt Hickory Creek. And new to Hunt Hickory Creek this year is their Central Kansas Lodge. They're going to be running hunters from the end of October all the way through January. And their main hunting area is located between Quivira National Refuge and Cheyenne Bottoms. Now, Central Kansas is a special place for waterfowl hunting. And during the peak migration, these refuges hold hundreds of thousands, if not close to millions of birds at one time. So for your chance of a hunt of a lifetime, head on over to hunthickorycreek.com, because if you're going to hunt Kansas, Hunt Hickory Creek. All right, today on the phone I got Chase White from Hunt Hickory Creek, and we're going to talk a little bit about this hunt they're giving away, and then we're also going to just kind of go freestyle and talk about ducks and geese and apparently the Bachelor, I guess.
No, we're not going to talk about that.
Okay.
What's going on, Ben?
Oh, not much. How are you?
Oh, I'm good. Finally got a cool day here in Kansas to run some corn and some cameras. So that was a nice change of pace, because it's been like brutal. I mean, not brutal for like guys in like South Texas or anything like that, but it's been 95, 96 with, 102 to 105 heat index. It's been an unbearable running corn and getting stands set for youth season and early muzzleloader, and it's been awful.
Oh, yeah. That front rolled through the other night and everything cooled off. We just sat out on the porch the first night, but I was in I was outside all day yesterday, and it was nice just being able to enjoy the sunset and a nice breeze.
Yeah, not be sweating.
Yeah, for sure. Not be, it's no running 50-pound corn up and down the Flint Hills, but
yeah, but you got to do what you got to do. We got some good deer on camera though. We got a couple pushing 170 and maybe even a little better. So
yeah,
we're not upset with that at all.
What's the biggest deer you guys have taken out there?
Probably. Let's see. We had one killed probably 4 or 5 years ago that went like 185. Double drop tine deer. I think it's mainframe 10 double drop tine. Had like a 6-inch drop on one side and like a 8-inch drop on the other.
Oh yeah,
so,
jeez.
We haven't crested that 190 mark yet, but we get guys every year that see them. It's just whether we get them killed or not. So.
Oh yeah, for sure. The whole different ball game there. Between seeing them and killing them.
Our bread and butter is like 140 to 170.
Okay.
So. But yeah. So.
Yeah. Well, I'm excited for this the Foul Front Hunt Hickory Creek hunt. That's going to be fun. So.
Yeah, it's probably going to be a rager.
Yeah, I'm thinking so. We're going to have some good food, some decent beer, and hopefully quite a few birds. Yeah,
it should be a good time. They're late November, middle of November into December out there at the new lodge should be, from everything Cody said and the other guy Andy that's out there working with us now. I mean, it ought to be really good that time of year. So I think we're going to hit it just right. So
I think me and Cody, we were on the phone yesterday, and I don't know if me and Cody's relationship's going to work out. He's an OU fan. I'm a Nebraska fan. And I told him that I drink the Purple Monsters, and he hung up on me. So
Well, I drink the white one, so
that's what everybody always tells me. I don't like the white ones. I like the purple ones. They taste like Skittles.
yeah,
Literally. So
yeah. Well, I mean, neither one of you guys root for a team that's even in a conference that's won a national championship in the last, I don't know how many years. So, SEC football is where it's really at. I mean, let's be honest here.
Hey, hold on, I'm trying to figure out how to turn this thing off and get you out of this conversation right now. So,
yep. So.
Did you know that tagging migratory game birds after you harvest them is a federal law? Did you know it's being enforced in all 50 U.S. states and Canada? Well, Toe Tags LLC has just the solution for migratory game bird hunters. A waterproof tagging solution that meets all federal tagging laws. With several options of tags and custom tags available, this is perfect for all hunters. Whether you are an outfitter or a weekender, for just a few cents a day, you can ensure you're in compliance with the law. Contact Toe Tags LLC at www.toetagsllc.com.
Hey, I want to tell you about a hunt logging system that my friend Elliot from Freelance Duck Hunting has created. It's a site called Freelance Hunt Stats. At Freelance Hunt Stats, you can record information from each day's hunt, which allows you to remember what took place each day, and it also helps you improve your future hunting success. It's easy to use, it tracks game totals, weather patterns, shooting information, bird averages, and a lot more. So go to freelancehuntstats.com and create an account to start logging your hunts today. All right, so hey, you got something else coming up that's pretty sweet. And I'm really excited to help / be a part of it. And why don't you go ahead and explain what you got?
Yeah, so just to give you a little background, I'm originally from Southeast Virginia, and Norfolk Naval Base is 25 minutes from my house. It's the biggest naval. I'm pretty sure it's the biggest naval base in the world. But my dad was Navy. One of my grandpas was Navy. The other grandpa was National Guard. And I've got a huge respect for the military, military first responders, any of those kind of, they go out every single day, lay their lives on the line to allow us to, like guys like me, where I've got a job where I get to go hunting, most days that I go out, I take clients out to go shoot ducks. That's what I do for a living. So when I got into waterfowl guiding in general, it's always been in the back of my mind, how could we kind of give back? Well, this year with the expansion out into central Kansas, adding Cody and Andy, and we've got a boy named Hunter from Wisconsin that's going to be coming down. We've kind of gotten to the point now. I really wanted to do it last year. I just didn't have the means, or kind of the timing wasn't right to do a veteran hunt. So it's always been in the back of my mind, and I've been thinking about it, for years now. And it's kind of a funny story. About a month ago, I'll turn on YouTube and just watch music videos or listen to music videos or whatever. And what's the name? Five Finger Death Punch has a music video. Yeah. It's called "The Wrong Side of Heaven," or "The Right Side of Heaven," "The Wrong Side of Heaven." And if you, even if you don't like that style of music, if you watch the video, essentially it's about four infantrymen, and their journey from war all the way until they get back home. And throughout the whole video, they post statistics on, veterans that are homeless, or veterans that are suffering from PTSD, or, veterans that can't find jobs, veterans, just all kinds of stuff. And dude, the first time I watched it, it literally gave me goosebumps. And I probably watched it 25 or 30 times over the next 2 weeks, and it never got stale. It always, every time I watched it, I was like, God, every time I watched it, it gave me goosebumps and goosebumps and goosebumps. So we're driving back one day from running deer corn, and the idea just popped in my head that, hey, let's try to make this happen. So I reach out to, a couple of my guides. You obviously, Wade Skeen, he's active duty. He's in the Air Force. And I said, what can we make this happen? And all the feedback I got, and I asked probably 25 or 30 different people on top of the people that are going to help us with the selection at the end. The after the nomination period is up, and everybody was just like, "Dude, let's do it. Let's make it happen." And watching that music video, going back to that music video, watching that music video, it really just stops and makes you think about everyday life that you kind of take for granted, and things that, that you wouldn't normally think about, it really makes you kind of think about that kind of stuff. So it was a really powerful moment for me to hear that, watch that music video, and, just where we're at as a country right now. And we're going to probably get a little political over this conversation at some point, but the way in my mind, the way that the military and the veterans, and I think it has gotten a lot better I think it's gotten better since Trump has been in office. And that might be the Republican side of me. But I think that there's more of an outreach and more of a, more resources being devoted towards the military, which there needs to be. But, in my mind, we don't do enough for the people at home that have done things for us overseas, that may have cost them life or limb or marriages or their kids, So that was kind of the driving force behind getting the veteran hunt put together, is just to give, that guy that was deployed for 9 months, he just got back, or you went to Iraq and Afghanistan 3 or 4 times, and he may be still struggling a little bit mentally or emotionally with that kind of stuff. Give those guys a weekend, where they can just come out, be around 8 other veterans, be around a bunch of hunting guides that are God-fearing Americans and love their country, and, just give them an escape and give them, and just try to give them something, to enjoy and be a part of.
Absolutely.
So that was what prompted it all. And I mean, I could talk for hours about the military and, the respect I have for them.
Yeah.
But, just a bit, we're in a position now where we're going to be able to kind of give back a little bit. And, so that's definitely what we're going to try to do. So,
yeah, it's really humbling to, see something like that. You texted me one evening. I think you literally texted me that video, and I was like, oh yeah, I've seen that video. And then a couple nights later, you're like, hey, we're doing this. I'm doing this, and it's humbling to see such strong support for the for the troops. And then I think if a lot more people were, really hunting is all about giving. We're taking from the environment and whatnot, but there's nothing. Some of the best times of my life have been giving somebody the experience of hunting, or giving them a different way of hunting. Like they come out and they're like, I've never shot a limit before. That was crazy. That sort of thing.
Well, this is like kind of where my mentality is like, so think about any hunt that you've ever been on. You're in the middle of working a flock of ducks or a flock of geese. They're coming into the hole. You call the shot, bang, 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 bang. You shoot, 6 or 8 birds or whatever it may be. The dogs run out. Over the course of that, even that minuscule amount of time, over the course of those, 30 seconds to 5 minutes of working birds into the decoys and killing them and celebrating with your buddies, is there anything else on your mind?
No.
Nothing. Your mind is completely clear. You're in the moment. You're not thinking about your cell phone. You're not thinking about work on Monday.
Not thinking about your bills.
You're not thinking about your bills. You're not thinking about, your kid who just broke his arm and how are you going to pay for the medical bills. You're not thinking about, what you may or may not, what you may have had to do overseas, the struggles that you may have gone through. It completely brainwashes you and completely clears your mind of everything that you've thought of, up until that moment that may have been weighing on your shoulders. So that for me is, I think, the driving force behind why I'm so passionate about waterfowl and why I'm so passionate about hunting in general, but specifically waterfowl, is you live in these 30-second to 5-minute time periods where nothing else in the world can touch you. You almost feel invincible because you're not thinking about anything else. You're in the moment. You're there with your best friends. You're there with in the case of the hunt, you're there with 8 other veterans that have had struggles of their own, that have maybe gone through a divorce or whatever it may be. And you're not thinking of all the other bullshit that life consists of. And that's what I think is going to be the biggest thing for us, with these veterans coming in, is that I know that it's going to give these guys a chance to unwind and just be in the moment and not have to worry about, life, and just be able to enjoy the outdoors, enjoy good camaraderie, and I be honest with you, I can't imagine what the conversations. I've gotten an idea because I've had some military guys, some vets, and in deer camp and stuff. But I can't imagine what those conversations are going to be like around the campfire that Friday night, Saturday night, or whatever, after the hunt, guys swapping stories and just, being real with each other. That's probably what is going to be really humbling for us, is just to have guys get to the point where they feel like they can kind of open up. And so, yeah, I'm so jacked about it. I mean, I think our video's got over 7,000 views right now.
Oh, yeah.
That's completely organic, and just the outreach, the people that we've reached so far. I mean, I would love to give everybody that has been nominated a chance to come out and hunt, and unfortunately we got to narrow it down to 9 guys. And, for the listeners or people that may hear this, you have no idea how difficult it's going to be for my quote unquote panel of people to narrow it down to 9 people. I mean, it's going to be unreal to try to do that.
Yeah, it's a close to an impossible task, but it'll have to happen, and it'll all shake out for the best. So,
well, and Cody and I talked. Cody was down here last weekend, and Cody and I talked, and our goal is that everything goes the way we want it to this year. Is it's going to become a yearly thing, and that we're going to do it every year.
Yeah, that'd be great.
So and it's, it'd be a great time for us as guides to unwind, and have guys in camp that are just totally jacked just to be in Kansas and be around a bunch of guys and have a good time, and that's what it's all about,
Yeah.
And that's hunting in general. If you're in it to shoot a limit and post a picture on Instagram or Facebook or whatever it may be, then you're in it for the wrong reasons. Or somebody hasn't shown you the real reason why you should be into waterfowl hunting or deer hunting or turkey hunting or whatever it may be. It's the pursuit, it's the camaraderie, it's the memories you make afield. Those are the things. That's why people that don't hunt don't understand why we do it.
Oh, yeah.
Because they have never experienced that.
Yeah, people, I've had some people message me directly and be like, hey, why are you starting a podcast? You just trying to, like, get rich, make money or something? Oh, man, if they knew how little, what the balance on this looked like. No, and I tell them, I literally had a friend tell me, dude, you talk about ducks and geese so much, and you're so passionate about trying to like educate people on conservation and how to help people get started hunting. He's like, you should write a freaking book, man. And so then I did. I tried writing a book. I got about 75 pages in, and I would give this book to the new people that came out with me, because I was always trying to take new people out. And they'd be like, dude, this is like 60, 70 pages. And I was like, yeah. Turns out I'm just a shit writer. And so I ended up, recording podcasts and kind of going with it. And it's just because it's something I could talk about waterfowl all day, every day. That's how passionate I am, about it. That's how much, even in the off season,
Well, I mean, like, I'll give you a prime example. In today's day and age, everybody's glued to their phones, man. I mean, I had, this would have been 2 years ago. I had a father and a son come out. I can't remember if they were from the East Coast or whatever, but it got to the point where this kid, he was like 13 or 14, was on his phone so much when we were out on the hunt, and I don't normally, and the dad was just so jacked about being there and being there with his son, and the kid was just missing, ducks working and this and that. And it's just like, it finally got to the point where I was like, hey, I can't remember what his name is now. I said, hey, why don't you, I may have been out of place doing it, but like, hey, why don't you put your damn phone down and, detach for a few minutes? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I listened to, going back to talking about non-hunters. I've heard that Joe Rogan's got a pretty decent podcast. So the other day I'm driving down the road and I'm just clicking through, scrolling. I hadn't listened to anything, and I saw Ted Nugent. And I'm a huge Ted Nugent fan.
Yeah.
Because this dude is so high on life. Like, has never drank, done
smoked,
drugs, or anything.
He's just
in his entire life.
Rock and roll and bows. Like that's it.
Yeah, and I listened to like the first hour of this, man, and like, if you can, he is so like, even over the phone, like, you watch this show Spirit of the Wild, and you're like, this guy is like, he's got to be on something. Like, he is way too high energy, like, but he's just so passionate about the outdoors and conservation,
Oh yeah.
and and just like being in the moment, and dude, that's kind of how I feel. I more so feel that way when I'm waterfowl hunting. I mean, dude, we go almost 60 days straight of getting up at 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning, setting a decoy spread, shooting our birds, scouting, dinner. Megan does dinner and takes care of all that stuff, and she's out there grinding with us. Sometimes, we got clients in that we really like, man. They want to hang out and drink beer. Dude, we don't go to bed till 12:30, 1 o'clock, and we're up at 3:30, 4 o'clock again the next morning. If you weren't passionate about it, you couldn't do that for 60 days on end. I mean, we get burnt out by the end of the year. I mean, dude, I'll go 3 or 4 days without taking a shower. I mean, I'll tell you that right now. I mean, you're so involved, and it takes so much to do it and so much mental energy. But for those an hour or two a day, when you're working birds or clients are laughing in the blind or telling stories about their wives or their kids or whatever, that's the moments that, like, it's like drinking a 5-hour energy, man. You're not even tired anymore when that kind of stuff happens.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And hold on, I'm going to pull over here for 2 comments. I don't know if you can hear it, but my neighbor is so loud. I'm in my garage. Talking so loud, I can hear her from across the street in my garage. But like, I'm going to have to go over there and talk to her. No, the second thing is you're talking about Ted Nugent, right?
Mm-hmm.
Jeff Stanfield from The Big Honker. He's getting Ted Nugent to come on his show.
Yeah, I saw that. It was the same day that I listened to the Joe. I haven't finished listening to the Joe Rogan podcast yet.
That's one of my favorite podcasts. It really is.
It's like a 3.5 hour episode that he did with Ted Nugent.
Oh yeah, Yeah. There's times I know that I should be listening to my podcast and like proofing, like, listening for like little sound errors or whatnot. And I'm like, oh no, there's a good Joe Rogan podcast out. I'm not listening.
Yeah.
But
well, just to listen to other people, and I'm not trying to put words in your mouth, but I think that's probably a big part of the reason that you got into doing a podcast is because, you come across people every single day or every single episode from completely different walks of life that have had completely different struggles, that have, completely different sets of problems, but they still are passionate about waterfowl hunting.
exactly.
And that's what it's all about. At the end of the day, is that you could be a left-wing liberal from California, and I'm a redneck Republican from Virginia, and we may not have anything in common except for maybe the fact that we like to shoot ducks. Now, I mean,
that's a pretty strong. That's not even a thread of commonality. That's like a chain of commonality.
Mm-hmm.
A big 10,000-pound chain. You can put a janitor and a millionaire in a blind, and if they're both passionate,
they're gonna have something to talk about. Whereas if they met each other on the street one day, they probably wouldn't even say hello to each other.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's what's so cool about my job. We've got, I'll never forget it. We had a absolutely bang out hunt last year. We call it 30 for 30. We shot our 30 ducks in 30 minutes, and we had 2 guys from Kansas City and a guy from Minnesota, and they had never met. And at the end of that hunt, they were in that 30 minutes, mind you. We shot 30 mallards and I think 10, 15 geese or whatever. At the end of that hunt, you would have thought that they had been friends for years. And they're actually coming back to hunt this year together, whereas before last year they had never even met. So
that's awesome.
You're exactly right. I mean, a janitor and a millionaire. That's exactly right.
Yep. Yeah, you can't really beat the relationships that are maybe not started. That's a pretty rare occurrence, I think, what you have there. But you end up finding out that a guy likes to hunt birds, or he, hey, will you take me out? And you go out there. That time that that you didn't meet each other, or you're not hanging out in the office, you're not hanging out at the bar, you're hanging out in the blind, and you learn real quick who a man is out there.
Yeah, you can't cover up who you are in a blind. I mean, it's just who you are as a person just comes out.
So speaking of who you are in the blind, you ever the stereotypes of duck hunters? There's always the guy that like wakes up late. There's always the guy that is trying to sleep in the blind. How many different would you say stereotypes of that, like, that you see with your hunters, your clients? What are some like the top 3 things that you see like that kind of make you a grown man giggle?
Well, that's a tough question.
Oh yeah, put your ass on the spot right there.
Well, the guy that I always appreciate the most is the snack guy.
Oh.
There's always a guy in a group that, when he gets to the blind, his ass has got some snacks in his blind. He'll be pulling out a pack of Oreos or some deer jerky or, sandwiches. Hey, anybody want one? That's my favorite guy. Is the snack guy.
I always offer to bring breakfast burritos.
Up until this point at 8 or 9 o'clock in the morning, the only thing I've had is a cup of coffee or a Monster. So
yeah. Oh, here's a question for you. What's the trigger for you to think, okay, I want a Monster or I want coffee right now? You know what I mean? I know.
It depends how tired I am, man. I usually don't start drinking coffee until about the 2nd or 3rd week in November, after deer season's been going pretty hard.
Yeah.
By the time I make it to duck season, coffee just doesn't do it. So usually it's a Monster, and Megan absolutely hates that I drink them, but
well, whoa. The no carb, no sugar ones are fine. That's just right.
Yeah, well, I guess. I mean, that's my argument. But I get to the point, man. Like last 10 days of the season, I was drinking at least 2 Monsters a day, dude, just to keep my feet underneath my body. I think you should think Megan's got a couple photos of me and Jet last year, literally making it back to the lodge. And from standing so long, or being in a waiter so long, or whatever, your back kind of bothers you, your knees bother you. So I'll just lay out on the floor and kind of stretch out on the carpet, dude. She's got photos of me where I've slept for 2 or 3 hours, and my dog is, sleeping on my arm, in the same exact spot for the same amount of time. People be stepping over top, like, man, just getting burnt out, dude.
Yeah. Talking about the marathon, but the sprint there, when we had Nadine, our daughter, 5 months ago, you're in the hospital for like 3 or 4 days, and then everybody wants to come see you at your house, you know what I mean, afterwards.
Yeah, you're like, stay away for at least a week.
Well, no, we let them do it, like whatever, because they made dinner and we had a nice lunch. But I guess I laid down on the floor real quick and laid next to my dog Winnie, and I woke up about 5 hours later and everyone was gone. So it was, it was. I know what you're talking about there. But Chase, if you're trying to garner sympathy from me from being super tired from hunting and guiding all the time, you're not going to get it.
No, not when you got a kid, right? Well, actually, speaking of, I got to give a shout out. One of my best friends, Alex Britton. I think he's in the group. He had his second boy. He had a little boy today. Him and Amy had a little boy today. Alex has the litter mate to my male Jet. He's got an SOK dog. Hell of a trainer. One of the best guys you'd ever meet in your life. But I got to give him a shout out.
Awesome.
He had a little boy today, so pretty jacked for that. So, and then he's got the kind of wife, that Megan will be like, and everybody. And he's going to Saskatchewan at the end of September to go hunt for 7 days. So, explain to me how you get away with that, huh?
I don't. He must give like really good back rubs or something, or maybe he makes a ton of money. I don't know.
Yeah, could be that.
Yeah.
So. But
I do neither, so I don't get those luxuries.
but hey, I wanted to jump back into the veteran thing real quick, because there was something that so last year I had a group of clients come in for deer season. The guy's name is Josh Wentling. He's a charter boat captain out of Virginia Beach, runs a big 57-foot blackwell, tuna fishing, bill fishing, all kinds of stuff. But he brought this guy with him from Montana, and his name is Dan Meyer. And he runs a nonprofit called Wilderness for Warriors. So you got to understand, this guy shows up in the camp, and I've got all the respect in the world for Dan. I mean, this dude is like, I think he was Army Recon. He did like 3 or 4 tours in Iraq and Afghanistan. And this guy is so jacked 1,000% of the time. Like, he's kind of a little bit hard to take at first, because you're like, man, how do you maintain that energy level? But he runs a nonprofit called Wilderness for Warriors, and he takes guys mountain lion hunting in Montana, military guys, and he completely fronts all the money, takes care of all the costs, their travel, all kinds of stuff. But he was telling me stories. I mean, he had stories out the wazoo, but of this guy, I think was a triple amputee, and when they're hunting mountain lions, it's like January or February. It's 30, snow up to your head. But so he runs dogs, and they tree this lion, and the lion is like 2 or 3 miles up the mountain. And he's got this guy with him that's a triple amputee. He's got one arm. So he puts this guy in a sled and drags this guy up a mountain 2 or 3 miles. I don't know how long it took him, a couple of hours, I'm sure. And this guy shoots his first mountain lion using his prosthetic leg as a prop to hold his gun up.
That's savage.
Just absolutely crushes this mountain lion. But and if you ever ask Megan when you see her about Dan, we call him Danimal. I mean, he is unreal. Like, just like if he moved
Like,
into a county, he like everything in the county would die because he was. I mean, he's just a killer, like just an absolute killer.
just
But
someone left him on fast forward.
Yeah, exactly. So he's so jacked and all this stuff. And then we got talking about his nonprofit one night, sitting out by the bonfire, and he pulls up this video that a guy that had come out on a hunt. I mean, like this guy was a veteran, had come out on this hunt, and was kind of struggling with life, didn't know what he was going to do, and was in a really bad place. Dan got him out, got him on a mountain lion hunt, talked to him for a couple days, and like turned this guy's life around. But that was a really good message in this video. But the entire time, Megan's holding the phone while we're watching this video. Tears are rolling down her face. I mean, it got me choked up. I probably shed a tear or two. I ain't gonna lie to you. But the whole time I'm watching and listening to this video, I look at Dan, and for like an hour, dude, he didn't say a word. He was completely calm, just stared into the fire. And you could just, like, that moment last year was what really kind of pushed me to think, how can we try to give back a little bit more?
Yeah.
But, there's people all in everybody watches the news. Everybody sees, you don't see that, 5,000 veterans a year commit suicide. You don't see that on the news. You see politics, you see this, you see that. You don't see that, we're losing servicemen left and right when they're not getting the help that they deserve or that they need. And, that's the driving force behind Hunt Hickory Creek putting on this veteran hunt, is that if we can, of these 9 people that show up, if we can make a difference in one of their lives, then it's all worth it. And Dan Meyer and his operation in Montana, Wilderness for Warriors, is what kind of maybe put a fire into my ass about trying to maybe do this a little bit more intensely. And then it was just kind of a snowball from there. It was just something that never really left the back of my mind. And now that we're at a point, with Cody and Andy and our new lodge out at the Central Kansas location where we can do it, it's going to probably change it's probably going to change Cody, me, Scott, Megan, Andy. It's probably going to change our lives just as much as it's going to change the veterans' lives that we're trying to do this for. It's probably what I'm most excited about this season, and we haven't even decided who we're going to have come hunt with us yet.
Yeah,
but that right there is the reason that you get into hunting. Like we talked about earlier, hunting sees no colors. Hunting sees no boundaries. Hunting doesn't see where you're from or how much money you make. Once you're in that blind, everybody's equal. Everybody's there to do the same thing and enjoy the same passion, whether it's deer or turkey or waterfowl or mountain lions or rabbits or whatever it may be, and that's why we do it.
Yeah.
That's why there's an outfitting industry to do that with, because everybody has such a passion for it. But for us to be able to give back, we're truly blessed that we can do that this year. And, we're beyond excited about it for sure.
Absolutely. And like, you just said something there. It was like, kind of sparked me in my mind. It's like, camo doesn't just, hide you from the ducks. It covers, everybody that, when you put that camo on, it might be Optifade, it might be Max 5, it might be Shadowgrass, hell, it might even be just Carhartt Brown. But when you put that uniform on, like that camo, that duck uniform, you're a part of something bigger. And there's a lot of people out there that, there's a lot of infighting when it comes to, mojos, no mojos, this decoy, that decoy, this type of hunting, this not type of hunting. But a lot of we have to remember as hunters that we have way more in common than we have uncommon. And we have to come together as a hunting community to propel conservation forward to ensure that we're still doing this crap in 60 years.
Yeah, I mean, you just leading into another conversation there entirely, but you go on Facebook and you go to all these different groups that consist of just water. We're just talking waterfowl hunting now, and everybody's gonna. You may have a different opinion on where you set your decoys, or whether you run mojos or not, or whether you do this or whether you do that. But what for the life of me, I can't understand. The infighting about stupid shit. About,
what do you think the stupidest shit is?
That, everybody's out there to do the same thing, and everybody, there's a huge thing going on right now with Arkansas and their WMAs.
Yeah.
Like, it's essentially turning the residents against non-residents, and I'm a little ignorant to the topic completely, as a whole. But I mean, I kind of understand where it's coming from and where, why they're trying to do what they're trying to do. But on the flip side of that, like, you got guys that are going into, a WMA and they're setting up 40 or 50 yards from another group, or, and that doesn't happen just in Arkansas.
Yeah.
And that happens everywhere. Where
I cut my teeth hunting in Texas? There's a 400-yard law in Texas.
It's 500 in Virginia. If you got they actually have blind laws, and that's a completely different topic, but it's 500 in Virginia. If you've got an established blind with a tag on it, you can't float blind it or build a permanent blind within 500 yards of that blind.
Yeah.
So, and duck hunting in Virginia ain't really all that, it isn't really all that great. But, back to it, all the, instead of, you got a group of 4 that set up 40 yards from you and you got a group of 3 guys, how about instead of doing that, why don't y'all hunt together?
Oh,
or move. I mean, if the other guys were there before you, get your ass up and go find another spot.
I don't want to spoil it because I have an episode coming up with this guy, but essentially I met pretty much, I can almost call it now, a lifelong friend out of this guy, and he's a U.S. Fish and Wildlife Services conservation dude, and he rolled up. I was in the spot. It was at the last part of the season. I didn't, he had 2 little flashlights with him as well, and we pulled up a blind. We had a good time, and I'll never have somebody like hunt 40, 50, 100 yards away from me again. I'm just going to go out there and invite them, Yeah,
I mean, it's crazy, dude. I mean, I guess I'm a little bit, maybe I got a little bit of an old soul. I mean, I kind of got into waterfowl hunting, with my grandfather talking about shooting canvasbacks, and they used to shoot them by a truckload, on the Potomac River in Virginia, when they shoot out lead number 5s, and they just used to drink Jack Daniels and, just absolutely crush canvasbacks. That's probably why the canvasbacks numbers aren't as good as what they should be. But it's so hard for me to preach, and that kind of goes into what we are about at Hunt Hickory Creek. There's tons of outfitters, not only in Kansas. There's a few outfitters in Kansas, but there's tons of outfitters all across the country where you can go and just absolutely smash. I mean, shoot ducks until your shoulder gets sore. And we shoot a shitload of ducks at Hunt Hickory Creek. The difference is what happens before the hunt and after the hunt, and even during the hunt. But,
right.
That's what we kind of pride ourselves on. And I think that kind of molds into why we wanted to kind of do the veteran hunt and all that kind of stuff. But, if you're a client coming in to hunt, whether you're going to New Zealand to shoot red stag, you're going to New Mexico to shoot elk, you're going to Florida to shoot an Osceola turkey, if you leave there and you don't have a relationship with your guide or the people that you hunted with, then they didn't do their job. You know, yes, you're going there to kill birds or kill an elk or kill a stag, and that's ultimately the goal. But on top of that, you should also gain a friend or a acquaintance or somebody that you talk to. You know, I mean, hell, Megan and I have people coming to our wedding that we've hunted with as clients. You know, and that's not because that's because we genuinely like and enjoy building relationships with our clients. Every single group that we wanted to rebook last year, we rebooked, and that has nothing to do with how great their hunting was. It has everything to do with how they were treated, and the fact that we actually just genuinely like to. We're people person, you know. We're people.
You're
You
people,
know, I
people.
mean, and
Yeah.
that's what hunting should be like as a whole, not necessarily just on the outfitting side of things. But if you run into a guy on a WMA, or you run into a guy on public land, or even a guy on the street at the damn gas station, you know, you may not have anything in common like we talked about earlier, but you may have hunting in common, and that person may become a lifelong friend of yours.
Yeah.
You know, just because you have one similar interest.
Last week I was talking to that Eric Dinger from Powder Hook, and he asked me, Ben, he said, what's the trophy? Is it a 6-man limit, or is it getting a guy his first duck, or getting a kid out there, or the cherished moments in between those flights when everybody's just giving each other a bunch of crap, and people. I mean, think about it. Everybody laughs. You probably still laugh about Wade missing that canvasback 3 times at 15 yards. But and then there's so many moments like that you're just not going to forget. You might forget a couple few hundred mallards that you've shot over the course of a decade, but you're never gonna forget Wade missing those that can.
Oh no! I could, if you could hook a projector up to the back of my head, I could the exact image would come out of my eyeballs of what happened when Wade missed those 3 canvasbacks. I promise you that.
Wade is thinking to himself, "Man, I thought I got it out of the system last time."
Oh no! Until he kills a canvasback with me, it's not going away. I promise you that. Wade, if you're listening, which I'm sure you will, until you kill a canvasback with me, I'm never going to forget it. It's got to be me and Scott have to both be there. If you don't kill a canvasback and it comes in, I don't know what to tell you, bud. You're going to get ragged on about it.
Oh, man. So why don't you give us a little bit of insight into what a hunting guide is doing during these last dog days of summer here, getting ready, getting prepped for the upcoming season.
Yeah, well, we're not doing a lot of waterfowl prep right now. We're doing, some as far as getting decoys organized and trailers and all that stuff. But I'm also, what I did when I first got into guiding was deer guiding. And call it a flaw, call it what you will. I don't personally care about shooting a deer myself. Part of that being because Kansas's out-of-state tags are not very cheap. But the enjoyment for me is doing all the prep work. As a deer guide, you're pretty much doing everything but sitting in the stand and pulling the trigger. I determine where clients go sit. I determine what winds are going to hunt. I determine what pressures are going to hunt. I determine, where the stand is, where the shooting lanes are, where the bait goes. So for me, I kind of live vicariously through my clients. I'm probably more excited about a client shooting 150 or 160 inch deer than I would be if I shot it myself. That's just the God's honest truth. Scott likes to deer hunt, but he'd rather shoot a 7 or 8 year old gnarly old deer with, half an eyeball and, his rack hanging off the side of his head. He just likes shooting, kind of non-typical kind of old, bruiser deer. But, so that's what we're doing right now. We're running anywhere between 500 and 1,000 pounds of corn a day, checking cameras, hanging stands. Probably my favorite deer hunt of the entire year starts September 8th, September 8th to the 11th, and that's our youth hunt. We've got, I think, 5 kids coming in with their parents to hunt. I've actually got a waterfowl client that's coming back with his son to do a youth deer hunt.
Awesome.
So we got some kids coming out to hunt, and then we'll have early muzzleloader after that, and that's the 3rd week of September. And then we don't really run any clients until about the 3rd or 4th week of October. The first couple weeks of October is just hot, and the deer are in a weird state where they're, going nocturnal. They're really not coming to their food sources as regularly. They're kind of getting geared up for the rut, so we don't run any bow hunters usually first 3 weeks of October. So that's what we're in the process of doing now. We're going dove hunting Saturday morning. Got a guy that helps me with a bunch of waterfowl land. Invited Scott and I to run our dogs and go out and shoot some doves Saturday morning. So that's going to be a little bit of a break. We've been 7 days a week since I got back to Kansas the end of July. So,
and I think you were telling me you and Scott, you guys have to share a bed there at the lodge, right?
No. It's funny though, because we have a guide room where we've got 2 beds at, and right now either I sleep on the couch and Scott sleeps in the room, or Scott sleeps on the couch and I sleep on the room for some reason. I don't know why it ends up that way, but yeah, so we're pretty excited about dove hunting. Scotty is a absolutely killer shot. I mean, he's probably the best shot that I know. I mean, he's really good. So we're gonna put him to the test Saturday for dove hunt. So
yeah, put a 20 gauge in his hands and see if he can get the doves done.
Oh no, he's probably gonna shoot his 12 gauge American flag over and under.
Yeah, I'm buying my over and under not this weekend, but next weekend.
What are you getting?
I think I'm getting a CZ.
Okay.
They're from Kansas City. Well, they're not from Kansas City. You know how the gun thing works, but they do all the in-house stuff in Kansas City at least. But why don't you give us the characters of Hunt Hickory Creek? We know you pretty well. So then you got Megan. She's been on the show. And, you talk a little bit about Scotty and Cody. Who else we got, at least waterfowl-wise, behind the scenes here at Hunt Hickory Creek?
So let's see. So waterfowl-wise, it's me. I'm the waterfowl manager, obviously. And then Megan, my fiance, she's a photographer, hospitality connoisseur, blind brushing machine. She cooks, she cleans, she does it all. She's kind of the glue that kind of keeps us all together. Scotty, he's from New Jersey originally. And he's been guiding 5 or 6 years now. He's probably the best goose caller we've got on the entire team. I mean, I'll be honest with you, he wears me out blowing the damn goose call. I mean, he blows it at least 3 or 4 times a day. I'll be in the house cooking dinner right now or whatever, and I'll just hear, he's just hammering a goose call out in the garage. And I'm like, Scotty, them birds have been working for 4 weeks. Leave them alone, And then we've got, a new addition this year will be Blaine. Blaine is a deer guide and a turkey guide, and he's going to kind of come in December and January, kind of help oversee things at the lodge, kind of get his feet wet with doing some waterfowl guiding. Take care of some cooking and some, stuff like that. He's from Ohio. And then we've got Cody. He lives in Ellenwood, Kansas, about 8 miles from our new lodge. Cody's lived in Kansas his whole life. I mean, Cody is the most down-to-earth dude that you've ever met in your life. He sits in his tractor and he sprays fields, but will talk to anybody. Just super good dude. And then we've got Andy Palmquist. He's from Iowa, and he'll be running with Cody. And he's been waterfowl guiding for a few years, and he'll be coming down probably the end of October, I'm guessing. And then let's see, we've got Hunter Mitchell. He's from Wisconsin. He's going to be a new addition this year. So we're doing a new thing this year where I may piss some people off when I say this, but I don't have any issues. I don't have issues with people from in-state, as far as guides or whatever. But it's kind of hard to bring people on board that kind of have, maybe have worked with another outfitter, or maybe have, worked at another, lodge or whatever. They may kind of do things a certain way.
It's easier to train a new guy than it is to retrain an old veteran or something.
Yeah,
of the industry.
It's kind of hard to treat. It's a little bit harder to teach an old dog new tricks. So
yeah.
We're bringing Hunter in this year. He's actually, I think he's military. I think he is military. I think he's in the reserves right now. But he's going to come down and he's going to get his feet wet with guiding and kind of help out there at the new lodge and see if he can cut it, man. I mean, a lot of people want to say they want to be guides and they want to do this stuff for a living, but we had 2 turkey guides last year tap out after the first 10 days. So it's definitely not for everybody. You definitely got to have the right mindset, and you got to be able to maintain a certain amount of energy level. And the biggest thing for me as a manager is hiring guides that, I'm really not concerned so much with guys that can, are world champion goose callers or duck callers or, pro staff on this company or this company. I'm concerned with the guys that can talk to clients, that are respectful, that are honest. I can teach, between the experience that we have here, we can teach everything else. You can't teach somebody to be a people person. So that's kind of what we look for in guides. We want, I want to be able to have a group of clients go with a guide and not have to worry about that guide making an ass of himself.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
And be able to deal with people with different personalities from different parts of the country with different backgrounds. That's what's going to make us successful, is having people that are down to earth, good people, and that's, for better or for worse, that's what, we're kind of all about. We're going to get better and better every single year. And we're taking a giant leap this year from what we did last year. But that's kind of what we're about in a nutshell. So
awesome, man. Yeah, no, I'm excited to get out, get down there this winter. I'm excited to kick all your guys' butts in fantasy football. I'm excited.
Yeah. The draft is Sunday, so we'll see what that's all about.
Yeah, I know. I'm feeling pretty confident, as it were, right now. So we got the Hunt Hickory Fantasy Football League. So
yeah. Well, we'll see how that goes. I wouldn't catch the chickens before they hatch. Cody's actually doing a draft right now as we speak, I think, on a different league.
Oh, see, he's not fully torqued right now. He's going to be split. So I'm counting him out right now. You never go with the guy that's got more than you got to dedicate yourself to like one league. The other one's just a consolation league.
Yeah, we ought to talk. I don't know if we brought it up. We ought to see if there'd be guys interested in doing a foul front league.
Oh, so this is your way of trying to dilute my my winnings of the Hunt Hickory Creek League. Okay, actually, yeah. We should. Well, let's see.
I mean, we're running out of time, but it might be something that we should look into.
It definitely is. I assume there's some people in there that like football. I could be wrong.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not for and we'll go completely off topic here. But if you kneel for the flag, I've got a huge problem with that. But I like my football and all that. But I'm not I guess I'm one of those people that don't agree with them kneeling for a flag, but I still, follow football. I guess that's kind of where I'm at.
I look at it like this. There's you take 100 people. At 100 people, there's always going to be at least 5 or 8 idiots. You know what I'm saying? So it's one of those things. It's where it's well, when you deal with a certain amount of people, you're just going to have to. There's the good ones. There's the bad ones. There's the good looking ones. There's the not so good looking ones. You know what I mean? There's just everybody.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody's in there.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I'm excited when football comes in. That means it's getting close to hunting season. So
yep, yes sir. I'm actually going up teal hunting this weekend up in Nebraska.
Lucky you.
I know. Yeah, if you wanted to buy another out of state license, you should have signed up.
Yeah, no, I think I'll just stay. I think I'll stay in Kansas and shoot doves.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm going to get out and shoot any doves this year. So, I usually do that, but I just haven't.
How far are you from El Dorado?
El Dorado? I don't know, man. Yeah. I guess I could look it up right now.
Just east of Wichita.
Well, hold on.
Probably an hour and a half, I'm sure.
It says 1 hour and 40 minutes. So the way that I drive, that's an hour and 50 minutes.
Did you say 50 or 15?
An hour and 50.
So you drive like a grandpa.
I am 28 going on 82 when it comes to driving. So I lose track. I'll get sidetracked. I'll get caught up in my own head. And then the next thing I know, Natalia is like, hey, speed limit's 75 here. And I look down. Oh, yeah, my bad.
I'm going 50.
Yeah, I've only ever gotten one speeding ticket in my life, so.
I hear you.
Yeah, I was going 20 and a 15 or something, so.
That's pathetic.
My wife says
you shouldn't tell people that.
My wife says if I ever get pulled over for a speeding ticket, 1, she'll lose faith in humanity, and 2, she's gonna argue with the cop the entire time. This guy never speeds. Blah 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 blah. Do not reward him with a speeding ticket. So
yeah. I know how it is. So,
yeah,
but anyway.
Yeah. So are you guys gonna get on any teal at all or not?
I'm sure Cody will. I think Cody's got some guys. He's going to probably get on some teal, but it's just going to depend on whether Scott and I can get away to go up there to the new lodge. We don't have much for teal where we're at. So.
Yeah. Is teal kind of like preseason football for a hunting guide?
I mean, if you got teal around, I guess it's like the start of the regular season. But if you don't have teal around, then yeah, it's like preseason football.
Yeah. I always have such high hopes for teal season, and then I always walk away from teal season just I don't know what that was.
Yeah.
So.
Well, it sounds like you might have a little better year this year. So.
Yeah, hoping so. That cold front that moved in, the other day. Hopefully that pushed some birds south. So.
I'm sure it did.
Yeah, for sure, man. So.
But anyway.
Yeah. That's all I got.
Yeah, that's all I got. I think we covered quite a few things. So
yeah, we're gonna try it. We're gonna try a Friday morning release on this, or a Thursday morning release, because we're gonna be doing the migration report. I think we're gonna be releasing that Thursday mornings coming up here. That's pretty cool. I got a meteorologist. The dude has a degree in meteorology. He's on TV. In Nebraska. But he's going to come on. He's going to give us the weekend weather report for the nation and then going down into different regions. And then we're going to have people calling in with their what they've been seeing throughout the week and hopefully gain a little bit of picture into what's going on. I mean, he can't call in every week, but I did talk to old Tony Vandemore over there at Habitat Flats, and he said he'd definitely do his best to get me a couple scouting reports from Habitat Flats. So,
well, that'd be good.
Yeah,
So
right.
you'll have Missouri, Kansas, Nebraska covered, I think.
Got South Dakota. I got a couple East Coast. I'm still looking for somebody in Florida or Georgia area, kind of see things down south. I need a couple Texas boys, and then West Coast. I've only got I got Washington and I got Southern California. But
you could reach out to Jeff Stanfield, just have him give you a report.
Oh, he's gonna get. I guarantee you, I'll get a report every week from him. I'm just gonna. Me and Jeff talk on the phone like once a week, so I'm just gonna. Hey, Jeff, I'm recording. Actually, I'm interviewing him on Friday. We're gonna talk about the changes in hunting and the hunting culture over the last 25 years.
Wow, that'd be good.
Yeah,
that'd be really good.
Yeah, talking like what they did before cell phones.
Oh yeah, they had two-way radios and CB radios.
Yeah, CB. I remember we would go up to my grandpa's cabin or my uncle's cabin, and there was a CB radio there for weather and talking to the marina and talking to neighbors and home. So, touch of the past there. That and the Super Nintendo, or not even the Super Nintendo, but
that was Atari days.
Atari, yeah, for sure, man. So, yeah, man. So, you got any parting words for the listeners?
Well, just do what you can to help military guys and help veterans, active duty or retired. If you can go out of your way and do something for them positive, take it upon yourself to do something like that. I mean, it will go a long way for a lot of people if everybody would just step up every once in a while and do something nice for somebody else just because. So, I think that mentality should be carried across the culture as a whole, whether it's military or your neighbor or somebody in the street that needs help. Just do what you can to help people, and that's what it's all about. So, and get whoever into hunting that you can, whether it be a kid, your girlfriend, your wife,
neighbor,
street, whatever it may be. Get as many people into hunting as you can, because hunters are what contribute to conservation the most. So we got to make sure that we keep hunters into it. So.
Yep. All right, man.
That's all I got, my dude.
Yeah, dude. I'm getting excited. Be seeing you here shortly. So.
Sounds good, brother. I look forward to it.
Yep. All right, Chase. Don't
grab me on, buddy.
Don't work too hard running that corn.
Nope. I won't.
All right, man.
All right.
Catch you later.
Thanks for listening to this week's episode of the Foul Front Waterfowl Podcast. Please come join us on our Facebook group, the Foul Front Waterfowl Podcast group, where you can connect with a good group of hunters, because we're all in this together. We need to act like it so that hopefully our great grandkids will be hunting ducks over our favorite public lands. We also ask that you go ahead and give us a written review on iTunes and give us 5 stars if you think we deserve it. And we really do want to hear back from you so that we can give you the best possible content. And if you get in on that Facebook group, you can get in there and you can ask questions and you can tell us what you want to hear next, or you can tell us what you don't like, and we'll be sure to tailor things to our listeners. So, all right, stay safe out there, and we will see you next week.